I wanted to learn why fast food is bad now. I mean, aside from it costing like $300 to like feed a family of 3, I'm a pescatarian, so my options are limited, to say the least. But, you know, what I can eat of fast food, a lot of it feels very forgettable. I'll say that. Okay, all right. Before we get into this, I just want everybody to know who this is. This is Review Brah. It goes by the report of the week. Just had to double check that. I'm not a true fan. But yeah, this is Review Brah, very known food critic on YouTube, very well known. If you don't know who they are, go and look them up.
Night, I decided to get something from Culver's. Culver's is one of those establishments I should add.
Culver's is goated. If I had a Culver's near where I live, I would non-stop use all of my money to eat fish sandwiches. They're so good. Okay, let's see what.
At least prefacing this, because this is what started it all.
Okay.
Culver's is one of those establishments that has always been regarded as being, yeah, it's fast food, but it's generally a little higher quality. It's supposed to be at least a little bit better as far as the quality of everything, the consistency, the service, all of the above. It's just supposed to be a little better.
I think if you had a lineup of like 10 restaurants, like 10 fast food chain restaurants, and then you put Culver's in it, I think that you would be like, I don't know, this isn't kind of fit in here compared to the rest of them. But we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let him speak. Let him speak.
Got a burger with bacon.
Okay.
Pretty standard, right?
Yeah.
I got it, and it was disgusting. And obviously this wasn't for a review, this is just for me to eat, and it was awful.
Wow.
It was really bad.
I'm sorry.
There were multiple problems with it. It was overly salty.
Yeah.
It tasted just off. You know, it was one of those times where the item just... There's something wrong about it. It just doesn't taste right. It's like one of...
Yeah, sometimes when you eat like an Impossible Burger from Burger King, you're like, you get a bite of it and you're like, that's not plant-based. That's just, it shouldn't be in here. I don't know what that is.
One of those things where it's like, you're taking a bite and you're even wondering, am I going to get sick from this?
Yeah.
I ordered it with no cheese, but the thing had like 6 slices of cheese melted on it. And with all of that, it just made me wonder, number one,
but
how did it get messed up that bad?
Yeah.
Number two, there seemed to be something more to it.
Right.
Than just, oh, they just messed the order up, you know, it just tasted off. There were so many things weird about it. And this is from Culver's. This is, again, supposed to be an establishment that's supposed to be a higher tier fast food chain.
Is Review Brah about to be like the most based person on earth and be like, yeah, I think that food is going down in quality because the average worker is not getting paid their fair share and that they're being overworked, and the amount of workers that they can get there are usually like just teenagers whose parents are making them get a job over the summer because nobody else would work for that wage? Is he about to do this?
And I hate to say it, this isn't the first time I've noticed this either.
Or is he going to be more based and say that corporations are just feeding you slop because they know that it's a food desert if they're not there, and they bought out all of the enemy companies, all of the competing companies, so there's no way to stop them from serving you slop? Is he about to be that bad? Is he...
Culver's, granted, has still been a little bit better. But this has been happening more and more, even with them. Instances not as bad as this, but where there have been problems with my order, with the quality, it's just elapsing more and more. And it's not just Culver's. It's every place.
Yes.
McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, you name it. There have been so many places, and I'm sure you've noticed this, that I've reviewed in the last couple years, where the food has just been awful.
Right.
It's quite frankly disgusting. And I hate when this happens. And what bothers me even more...
Every food chain that exists today that was around like... I don't know, like... I'll give it like 10 years ago. Every chain that existed like 10 years ago that's still around today I guarantee you most people will go, oh, it used to be so good. You remember McDonald's when they had the potato wedge fries? Oh, it was so good. Every boomer you ask if they like McDonald's, that's exactly what they're going to say. And they're going to be like, and their burgers were so good. I loved the Big Mac. It was yummy, yum, yum. And getting a fresh Coke. Ooh.
Is when it's becoming more and more of the norm.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
these sorts of items and tying it again. It's some burnt piece of garbage.
Yeah.
It's some just vile slop, for lack of a better word.
Yes. He's doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it.
It's getting to the point now where pretty much every other item that I review is just, it's disgusting in some way or another.
That's so sad.
Or it's just so overpriced that it might be all right, but it's like you're burning your money.
Let's go.
What's even the point?
Let's go.
And then, the best part is that you're burning your money for absolute garbage when it's bad, too. That's another thing.
Wow.
Like the last video that I did for those Arby's mac and cheese bites. They were horrible.
Hell no.
I mean, there have been times when Burger King has done their mac and Cheetos, and those were better than that.
Damn.
I mean, it's not the most difficult thing in the world, but there was that issue. Then I go back a few...
Wow, it's such nice long nail. You know what I mean? I can't have nails that look that pretty ever. They get dirty. I feel like I have to clip them. They feel weird. Just very vampire coated, or werewolf if you want to go into that. No, it's vampire coated. So I look at people, they're either vampires or werewolves. Like, you know how everybody has that, like, oh, Jacob Edward, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because most people fall one way or another, you know, and you're trying to get them on that spectrum of, are they closer to a vampire or closer to a werewolf? Definitely coded as a vampire. Sorry, again, derailing. We were talking about
a few videos. There's this chicken sandwich, I think, from Burger King.
Don't worry about it.
And it was like a piece of rubber. That was horrible, too.
Yeah.
Popeyes released their truff chicken sandwich. There was something really wrong with that as well. And these aren't...
Can I say something? The cadence reminds me exactly of my brother's cadence. It reminds me of Smuggy's cadence. Like... If there was a scripted content, this is exactly how Smuggy would present it. Okay, moving on.
Aren't, little criticisms. It's one thing if, there's some barbecue sauce on this sandwich, and it tastes all right, but I'm not a fan of it. That's not what I'm talking about here. These are things where there are fundamental errors.
Right.
Where it is genuinely gross and vile. To the point where it's not just, I don't like the way the sauce tastes. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
This is burnt. This is inedible.
Right.
There's something that tastes so off about this that now I'm worried, am I going to get sick from this? This is what I'm talking about.
Every time I eat fast food?
Oh, it was, the sauce, it didn't have enough sauce, or, there wasn't enough bacon on it, or this, that, or the other thing. These are much more serious errors. And they're happening more and more and more.
I wonder why that is.
It's not just with one chain. I'm talking about the entire fast food industry. From the bottom, even to the top. Like I'm saying, Culver's, people generally regard Culver's as being one of the better fast food establishments.
Right.
It's happening there too now. It's happening at pretty much every fast food place, at least that I've been to.
Right.
And it's happening more and more frequently. Any consistency, it's just pretty much consistently bad at this point.
Okay.
And the prices, that's another thing. That's for another day, too. I could make a whole separate video about that.
Yeah, the upcharge for like any item when you're like doing a restaurant is, I forget what the standard is, like of upcharge from ingredients to what they'll price it for. I think it's like 20%, like 20% of the, like 120% now. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Every like couple of months, like restaurants and fast food restaurants especially like up their prices to like on every item. Like it's getting to the point where it's so unregulated. I wonder what I wonder what their point is. I wonder what they're going to, the end goal here. And it's because...
You know those experiences that you'll get? You notice something, and you're thinking to yourself, though, is it just me? Right? Is it just me, or is... And then, you'll state your observation.
Yeah.
I have my suspicions. I'll be straightforward with that. But I'm still thinking that. Is it just me? Is it just me, or has fast food gotten even worse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I trapped in some sort of bubble where it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and everyone else, fast food is just great as ever, and here I am where it's just at the absolute bottom of the barrel?
No, you're not. And I'll tell you something else. It's almost with every single commodity that we have as citizens within America. Every quality item is going to dirt. It's literally just evaporating. It's like it's just dissolving in front of us. I don't know how it's gonna I don't think there's a fix. Like as an individual, I don't think there's a fix for this. But I do want to see that bubble is called capitalism, baby.
Or is there something more to it?
Yeah.
I have my suspicions, like I said.
Right.
I could take a guess.
Right.
But what I want is perspective. Right? I could have my guesses. I could have my suspicions. But I was thinking about this as I was looking earlier at that absolutely vile burger that I got. I was thinking, I'm just going to go ahead with it. And I'm going to shoot the question.
Okay.
You as a viewer, yes, you, right now, right here.
Right.
What do you notice? I mean, what do you notice?
I think that most places that have like their ingredients shipped in from somewhere always have bad ingredients now. Like if it's like a transportation type deal, that America's infrastructure cannot handle transportation the way that it is set up. I believe like 50%, like more than 50% of our imports come in from San Diego, or like the East Coast or the West Coast. So like that's half of our products in the entire US. Like you got to think of that come from one port. And then you got to think about how the railroads are right now with transportation. Meaning just for supplies, not like passenger or this or that. But there's not but like two companies that are the mainstay companies of these places. I don't know. That's a lot. When you look at the shipping industry in America and then you think about fast food, it really grosses you out because you have no idea where that's coming from and how long it took to get there.
How is fast food in your neck of the woods?
Terrible.
Are you noticing the same thing?
Yes.
Are you noticing this precipitous decline in the quality of it?
Yes.
Within the last few years, mind you. So we're not even making comparisons here. I should stress this also. To, let's say, the 1980s or the 90s or even the early 2000s.
Right.
When I think in many cases, fast food generally was indisputably better in many instances. I'm talking the last few years.
This person's 1 year older than me. They look so vibrant and young. What am I doing? I'm just werewolf coded.
I'll even narrow it down the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years or so. Have you noticed what I'm noticing? Have you? I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
If you have, you could state your observations in the comments. You could say whatever sorts of experiences you've noticed on your end as far as the fast food quality is concerned. My second question, though, why do you think this is happening? Why do you think? Like I said, I have my suspicions, but why do you think it's getting so worse so quickly at that, if you think it is?
Okay, so I've already gave my reason pretty much, but I will say I think it's like a stagnation of wages for jobs that are seen as like school jobs or like jobs that kids do after school, when really they're like crucial jobs to our entire society, and without people working those jobs, our society would crumble. Like without a doubt, if my grocery store was the only place that I could get food in like 10 miles surrounding my house, and I do not have a car, then every time that I go out, I have to get that grocery store's supplies or whatever it may be. Now, what happens if I have something that interrupts me from going out and getting food from the grocery store? Or let's say, like happened during the pandemic, the grocery store was not stocked fully. There's shipment problems. Grocery stores get shipped bad food. What happens then? And it's like, well, you have to go to one of these places. So like, that's just stating the importance of fast food in a society, especially when we don't have like community gardens in every city or community places where we can get food. Like food shelters in my neck of the woods is like once every week you can get some food from a food shelter. And that doesn't really suffice if you don't have food on a Thursday and then it's on Monday when it's stocked and you didn't know you were going to not have food. So, right, like the importance of fast and deliverable, not like to your house, but I mean servable food is goes to be said, you know. I would say it goes without say, but I'm saying it right now. I don't know. I think that this is like a problem with stagnant wages, workplace morale at like an all-time low, and importing exports just not doing so hot, because of all of these things that I just mentioned previously is in the workplace when you're shipping. So there you go. That's my thought on it. Oh, and also like there's no food regulations that are strict for any of these companies, and oftentimes they're allowed to use the cheapest source material with any artificial flavoring or preservatives or whatever. And I think preservatives just taste bad. I don't even think, like, I'm not even saying like you should have no preservatives ever, but I am saying that they probably make food taste bad. You can probably taste them. Like if you got rid of the preservatives and like some of these fast food restaurants items, you'd be like, oh yeah, that one tastes better, but I don't know why. Okay, I'm moving on.
Now, you don't have to answer all these questions.
I did. I already did.
Appeals to you.
You're welcome.
I'm just feedback. I'm looking for responses or perspective.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, is it just me? Or are other folks being impacted by this too? And are other folks noticing the same thing? A third question, if you want to go here, and this is purely optional, but if you want to hypothesize, where do you think this is going to be headed?
Further down.
Do you think it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse?
Yes, 100%.
And they're going to hit a new low, and then somehow they're actually going to get below that.
Yeah, and I also think that companies will go out of business and be replaced by companies who are trying to not do that. So, like, if a company like McDonald's doesn't, like, step up its game and, like, pay their workers and reduce their prices on their items instead of, like, price gouging the items off of some like artificial like, oh, we gotta increase it because now our Big Mac is like $20. You wanted better food, so we gotta, and you wanted better wages, so we gotta price hike the food even more than it's already price hiked. Like, if there's profit, there's a margin that can be used to pay those workers. And I'm pretty sure if you look at like McDonald's profits, you would see that there's a huge profit. The CEO, there's a lot of overhead getting paid more than they should and going home with more profit than they should instead of paying their workers a substantial wage and the ability to have a lifelong career at any one of these establishments. Anyway, going further.
And it's just going to keep getting worse, or do you think it's going to improve?
Yeah.
Do you think that people are going to start maybe protesting with their pocketbooks and these companies are finally going to notice?
Yeah.
Do they just not care and it's just going to keep getting worse?
They don't care, but once people protest with their pocketbooks, they're out. They either fold as a business and they hire in some CEO to crash the company into the ground, or they say, hey, you know what? We're going to start trying to make our food better, and we're actually going to raise people's wages so that way the workers there are actually skilled at their jobs and are willing to like stay long enough to continue to be good at their jobs instead of being like trapped in it. because it's the only job they can get. And they're just like, I don't want to go to work because this is the only job I can work. And this isn't really a passion of mine. And it's not even bearable to most people because you can't live off of it.
Do you think fast food is just going to die one day? So what do you think this is even going to result in? Because to me, I notice it getting worse.
Yes.
And it's not stopping. This isn't some temporary little trend. It is just plummeting. It's like there had been, I think, a decline in the quality of fast food gradually. And then a few years ago, fell off a cliff.
Right.
And it has just been going down and down. And I've just been noticing some very serious problems more and more frequently, to the point where it's like, I'll even think to myself, as a consumer, what motivation, if it weren't for these reviews, what motivation do I even have to go to these places? And I'll tell you what, there's none. There's no motivation.
Yeah.
Why waste my money for some slop that might even make me sick? Or that I'm probably just going to be disgusted with.
Right.
That's going to look like nothing like the ad. Why even waste the money? What's even the point? In my opinion, there is none.
Right.
And
if you don't have like a tiring job where you can't like go home and make a meal when you get done with your job, or you don't have some type of disability where you can't make food all the time, or it hurts to make food, like meaning like you can't withstand the physical stress of like getting up and cooking on a stove for like 20 minutes, right? Like there are only certain options that you can go for here. So like they won't die. Like these companies, like, and their scheme to like make us pay, hand over fist our entire wallet for like a burger, they're not going to stop. But like in general, fast food's always going to exist. It's just there's no way for every franchise to go out, because when one closes, another one opens, and that's just how it is, because they see opportunity. It's like why Crumble Cookie is like exploding right now, because finally they see like an opportunity to be like, oh, you like cookies? You like gourmet cookies? Oh, that's crazy. Me too. You want them for $16? And then everybody's like, no. It's like, who likes cookies? Yeah. Who wants some? Yeah. They're only $16. I'll just bake them at home. But I mean, but it's still successful, like at the end of the day, because people have a need for it. They have a want for it. Not everybody wants to bake. Just the way it is.
Surely I can't be the only person that feels that way. So, what do you notice? Do you notice the same thing?
Yes, I do.
If so, how bad has it been? How drastic has the decline been? Have fun with us. Take these sorts of questions any way you want, but I am looking for perspective desperately. I'm just curious how expansive this is.
Teaching the idea of a conscious consumer through... Did you guys notice this? I'm just reviewing food and I've noticed this. That's so funny. That's so based.
How widespread this is. If it's as bad as I think it is.
Right.
If you dissent, though, because, granted, hey, maybe it's just me. I am willing to accept that. If you think that, no, there really isn't any sort of change, or if you think, I'm just not really noticing anything.
I'm not willing to accept that it's just me. I will live in my own house of paranoid delusion and know that everything is against me.
Or if you actually want to take a contrarian point of view, and you want to say, actually, I think fast food has been improving in the last few years. Review Brah, I don't really know what you're smoking, but I think it's actually getting better and better.
Sight-sorted crack.
Better. I welcome any dissenting opinions as well. Like I said, I'm looking for perspective, not just some sort of one-sided viewpoint. I really just want to hear it all. So if you see things differently, you are more than welcome to share your thoughts, and that would be much appreciated.
Okay, this is me doing that.
Here's where I'm getting with all of this. I mentioned that this is going to be the start of a video series.
All right.
At the very least, it's going to be 2 videos. But again, I'm going to make this however long it is. If it winds up being 3 videos, or 5, or 10, if I decide to make 20 videos about this where I cover a different point in each video, I'm going to do it at this point. I really don't care. I'm just going to go for it. But at
Okay.
the very least, it's going to be 2 videos. And in an upcoming video, and there's going to be some time here, so don't feel like you have to rush typing anything out. If you want to take even a couple days to just collect your thoughts or whatever, I mean, you could do that. In an upcoming video, though, I'm going to outline some of the feedback that comes in for this video in the comments section, and I'm going to share as much of it as I can and try to discuss some interesting points and observations that, again, were left in the comments section of this video. It's going to be like an open forum. Again, all viewpoints, both in agreement and disagreement.
Interesting. I appreciate the perspective of this and the openness of this. It's definitely a very different style than what you're accustomed to on YouTube. It's definitely less authoritative on an issue and more, what do you think? But it's kind of classroom style because it seems like there's an opinion that's already been formed and that later Review Brah will be like, hey, this is my opinion, which, I don't know, maybe it's doing something. It's definitely interesting. Oh man. I trust this man's word on fast food more than any other human being on the planet. Yeah, I agree. When will fast food recover from this? My answer is probably never. Most likely never. It will never recover. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Love you all very much. Goodbye, my little mucklings. Bye.